So there's this.
And Thursday, after the truth finally hit the courtroom, I walked out fully vindicated. This isn't a story about avoiding payment. It's about refusing to be exploited and exposing a system that's been abused for far too long. Now, for a little background. For the past 9 years, I've remained damn near silent about this lawsuit because I've been respecting the court and legal process. But the reality is, these people officially crossed a line that they cannot uncross. Sending me to jail, that's not gonna work for me. And it's time for me to share my side of this insane story. I'm done holding back, and it's time to tell you. Back in 2017, a group of zealous environmentalists called the Utah Physicians for a Healthy Environment, aka UPHE, sounds a lot like EPA, they came.
We'll find a little bit about who they are in a little bit as well, so everybody knows who they are.
Came after me under the Clean Air Act. They claimed around 20 trucks and a handful of emissions defeat parts that we sold somehow caused, get this, over $114 million in damage. That's more than $5 million per truck or violation. Most of those rigs were show vehicles, off-road use only, static displays, or in some cases, driven very limited miles on Utah roads. But that didn't matter. They needed headlines, and they got them. Within 24 hours of filing, they blasted a press release worldwide using my name, my face, and random coal rolling footage found on the internet that wasn't even me. Don't get me wrong, they used some of our videos for sure, but lots of it wasn't even us. That media storm destroyed deals, partnerships, and relationships that took me years to build. It caused absolute mayhem. Now, the real fight came when the judge, a very smart man who I have a lot of respect for, ruled completely in their favor, treating basically every truck, every violation, everywhere like it broke Utah law. Well, we appealed that obviously, and the federal appellate court trimmed that way down, ruling that I could only be held liable for trucks or parts actually used in Utah, because UPHE is a Utah group. That one ruling essentially gutted the bulk of their case, as it should have. But here's the insane part. Even after 99% of their claims were proven wrong, the attorney's fees never went down. In fact, they went up, because under the Clean Air Act, the Private Citizens Action Clause, the judge still labeled them the prevailing party, and they demanded every dollar of their attorney's fees plus much more, with the billing clock seemingly never being paused. So despite winning a massive chunk of our appeal, I still got treated like I lost it all. Make that make sense. You see, now that's not justice. That's extortion wrapped in legal paper. And it's not by the judge, but by the attorneys who exploit this loophole to earn millions for themselves, not for the.
There's more to it, but
it's quite the racket. Seems like
quite
the racket.
Now, I don't know if he truly has more violations. He's just kind of saying, softening his port, like, I'm not the major victim. Maybe he has some stuff that really did violate it. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe everything he's saying is true. Going off the fact this is what he's saying, and I'll take his word for it, that what he's saying is true. So I think we need to look into who this Utah Physicians Health Environment Group is.
Yeah. Utah Physicians for a Healthy Environment.
Thank you. Utah Physicians for a Healthy Environment. Sounds a little sus to me, like major climate change money grab, but that's just right off the top of my head of what that sounds like. And we'll try to dive a little deeper into that. So interesting stuff going on with our Diesel brothers just up the road here. They have their big show on what is it, Discovery Channel or something?
Yeah, one of those. TBS, A&E, I don't know, one of those. Yeah, it's been on for a while, and they do pretty well on the show. It's a fun show to watch. I don't watch it religiously, but I have seen it, and it's a fun show.
I know they've done some really good work when they helped out over in the Sierra Nevada when the huge snowstorms.
Yeah, with the snowstorms and stuff.
Yeah. So they've done a lot of good work. Again, I don't watch them as much either and things like that. But again, we don't know much about them and their actual dealings and whether this is legit persecution going after them, or whether they truly did something wrong that warrant going after. I don't know. We're going to try to dig a little deep into that. Not real deep, but we're going to dig into this a little bit and find out what's going on, right?
Yeah. Let's do it.
So welcome to the Rude Barn podcast today, everyone. Let's get into it. Okay, it's the Diesel brothers being targeted for the last few years, actually, for stuff that we don't necessarily think is on the full up and up. I don't think on this. But what are your thoughts on what's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, he kind of explained it in our cold open video, but basically, yeah, I think, I mean, the more, so we started talking about this just kind of randomly, trying to figure out what's going on here, and the more and more that we dig into this group, the more and more this sounds just kind of like a money grab. And I guess my question to you was, what are they just free to go after anybody at any point? Are they?
Like it to me, but...
Yeah, I mean, are they backed by legislators? Are they, who do they have on their board that is really like pushing these things? Like, these are questions that, me and Barn have to ask ourselves, and we have to ask out loud because, if we don't ask them, who's gonna, because you know what we do?
We question everything.
We question everything.
And oddly enough, when you question everything, we have our shirts and sweatshirts that say question everything at our Etsy store. And real quick, our Etsy store is the rudebarn.etsy.com. And I think I got some Halloween stuff up. Kind of
Halloween stuff. Nice.
Yeah. We got the Rude Bat. And it comes in a sweatshirt and t-shirts. And then we have Bat Guano Loco. That shit crazy. Then I put an old bat. I have an old bat. And then Guano Happens. And then we have our alien shirts and our alien graphic hoodie. Question everything hoodies right here. Probably can't see that because I'm like thing. And then the t-shirts. So I got a bunch more stuff up. And we got hats and shirts and fun stuff. And the Dos Equis, same beer. Even though the label might be different, it's the same beer inside. And our question everything shirts right here, gang. So check those out, therudebarn.etsy.com. So anyway, back into the Diesel Brothers. They have been persecuted, and Heavy D or Dave Sparks, or is it the same guy? I'm not sure. We don't really follow it too much, but they are local boys up the road here in about half hour, 40 minutes north of us. And they have been sued by the Utah Physicians for Healthy Environment. And let's listen to a couple little things of what's been going on, because Heavy D did spend about 2 or 3 days in jail in solitary confinement. So I'm going to go through a couple videos here and see, give you a little background of what's kind of going on here.
While the lawsuit against Diesel Brothers was a big hit to their finances, that wasn't the last time that their operations got them into big trouble. The second time happened in 2019 when the Italian fashion brand Diesel sued David Sparks and Dave Kiley for their deliberate use of diesel in their brands, including diesel cellars and diesel power gear.
This thing goes all the way back to the whole like Yeti thing when the Utah Mammoth NHL hockey team here in Utah was supposed to try to get the Yeti name, Utah Yeti, and the Yeti cooler brand decided to sue them or cease and desist anything where you can use like you own everything Yeti.
Yeah, you don't own the word.
You don't own everything Yeti. And why they rolled over is like nobody's going to confuse Yeti cooler brand with the Yeti with Utah Yeti, especially if you have to say Utah in front of it. Utah Yeti, NHL hockey franchise. So how does Diesel brand, and we all know Diesel brand clothing, or most of us do. I didn't realize they were out of Italy, but apparently they think they own everything that's possible Diesel as well. And I don't think they're doing it. I think their stuff is diesel power gear and other diesel seller, all these different things. It's not just diesel, and the logo is different and everything's different and all this stuff. Why do they think they can sue? Because the word diesel, you don't own the word diesel.
Yeah, you don't own the word. And the thing is too, it's a completely different industry.
Right.
I could see if it was in the same industry. Yeah, we might have a little bit of a problem here, but it's a completely different industry. And so what? And they're not like branding. It's almost marketing. You know what I mean? So you're wearing a shirt that says Diesel Brothers on it or whatever.
Are
That's
you going to confuse that with Diesel brand clothing?
Yeah,
What?
exactly. I mean, because
Yeah.
I mean, if you've seen Diesel brand clothing, aren't they the fancy pocket pants?
I think they're kind of like the old
On
True
there?
Religion and
Yeah,
Right
yeah.
Brand and fucking Ed
Yeah.
Hardy and shit like that. I think they were that is what they are,
Right.
and they're still around. That's great. Good on you, Diesel.
Yeah,
But
for a while.
to go after these guys, I mean, this is what happens when you try. This is why it's so difficult to start a business. So difficult to be a bit. And yeah, you don't want to be the same freaking thing as everybody else. You don't want to sound like the same, like you're, piggybacking on the I'm not going to start a, computer monitor company called Apple or
Right.
Dell or, you know what I mean? You do have to differentiate yourself enough, and you can't be that. You need to be like Crooked Apple, or something that's, you know what I mean? You have to add some sort of something or other on there to differentiate yourself.
Well,
And that's what I think they've done. I think I may be wrong, but I think they, from what I've seen.
yeah, but they didn't deliberately go and they're not like the Dane Cook of diesel industry. Like they don't steal jokes. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, I think that's why a lot of people fail. Well, not fail, but give up.
Yeah.
Because stuff like this happens, and you get a random brand out of Italy coming and knocking on your door and sending you letters to cease and desist or whatever. I mean, is it enough to make somebody quit? I think so. It's scary enough,
right?
Because or else we're going to sue you. Okay, well, for how much?
Are scary for
millions of dollars for defamation,
right.
or impostoring and whatever the fuck. And it's like, okay, well,
I mean, what do you have to do? Say Diesel USA, Diesel Brothers USA, something that differentiates from Diesel in Italy. It just is crazy. Let's listen a little bit more. We have a couple more of these just kind of explain what has been going on with them, and then we're going to dive into who this UPHE group is, and then look at the Clean Air Act that they supposedly violated, and how is it that this group can just sue them and then expect to get this huge lawsuit settlement out of them. So let's listen a little more about the background of what's going on with the Diesel Brothers.
Apparel brand founded by the TV stars. According to reports, the Diesel Brothers' usage of the Italian denim-centered brand in their products violated trademark laws, especially considering that Heavy D and Dave Kiley were likely to have known about the brand before they started selling their apparel. Furthermore, the fashion company also argued that the YouTubers turned TV stars owed them over $59 million in damages for the misappropriation of their name, to which the defense argued that they were only liable for the products that explicitly said diesel in any visible way. And
because they own everything diesel.
Wow.
You people can F right the hell off as far as I'm concerned. But here is another video of Heavy D himself, Dave Sparks, talking about the suit, and then we'll do a couple more, and then we're going to get into who the group is that's trying to sue him.
David Heavy D. Sparks, a star of the Diesel Brothers, was arrested in Salt Lake City over unpaid fees linked to a 2017 environmental lawsuit.
God, I hate fucking AI.
The arrest followed a federal judge's bench warrant.
Voiceovers. I hate these AI voiceovers. If you listen to them, they do not read a sentence properly, and they don't read words correctly. Oh my God, it's horrible, but we're going to have to suffer through this. It's just a few more seconds.
Warrant for contempt of court related to allegations of violating the Clean Air Act by selling emissions overriding auto parts. Sparks' attorney says the arrest is civil, not criminal, and he expects a quick resolution.
Yeah, well, apparently not. There's still more stuff going on. This one talks about why he goes to prison again, and hopefully not an AI voice that we can look at and listen to and not want to pull our freaking hair out and stab a pencil in our ears. So let's listen to a little bit more of what's actually going on here, and we'll go from there.
Brothers, they expected roaring engines, jaw-dropping truck transformations, and a crew of larger-than-life personalities bringing old vehicles back to life. But behind the camera, one of the show's biggest stars was facing a battle that would lead him not to the garage, but to prison. David Heavy D Sparks' story isn't just about custom trucks. It's about legal battles, environmental laws, and a moment that shook both his career and his personal life. David Sparks, better known to fans as Heavy D, is a businessman, television personality, and off-road enthusiast who became a household name through Discovery Channel's hit show Diesel Brothers.
Yeah, it was Discovery Channel. But here I have a question. There's been speculation that and Elon has been trying to put out stuff about the big semi trucks that move shit across the country, just like every diesel truck on the road does. Every semi that's on the road runs on diesel fuel. Diesel fuel tends to give a little more power to your vehicle, and trucks that are pulling 50,000 pound loads need that.
Mm-hmm.
So electric I don't see that working very viably for very long. Sure, it might be able to pull and all that, but it's going to really drain the battery really quickly, and it's going to take forever to recharge. So that doesn't make sense when you can fill up a truck in, I don't know, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, however long it takes to fill up those tanks. But there's diesel trucks that run across the country every single day, and there's thousands of them on the road in every city, including all the highways and everything in between, going everywhere. So I'm not sure how a handful, 20, 30, even 50 vehicles that he's looking at that are not running all the time, that are just sitting in his yard most of the time, and he fixed a few of them up at one time for people or whatever, is such an environmentally damaging deal in this whole thing. I'm not seeing where the violations are like, CR England trucks, with thousands upon thousands of trucks driving across country, or, Amazon diesels or UPS trucks, long haul trucks taking shit across the country. I'm not sure I'm seeing how this is more environmentally damaging.
Well, that's kind of what my question is too. Okay, here in Utah, well, the main thicket is like of population is in a valley. Okay,
right.
And if you live in a valley, or you've ever been in a valley, you see how smog and
Pollutants get trapped.
Get trapped in the valley. Eventually it clears out. But the thing is, though, too, is in this same valley, there's a refinery.
And 5, I think.
What's that?
I think there's like 5.
Oh, well,
yeah. North end of Salt Lake Valley. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're coming from the north end. Yeah. And,
right.
And so there's a line of refineries, basically. And then on the other side of the valley, on the adjacent side of the valley, there's a mine. And they all give off, emissions quite regularly. And they are very clear to see in our valley. And I wonder if these people have gone after them, or if they're untouchable. Right. So they have to kind of go after these smaller guys, that are doing this kind of thing, because I mean, with the combination of those refineries, the mine, the damn contrails that they fly over our state constantly, and you can see them bright as day. Matter of fact, we've had the clearest skies that we've had in months and years since the government's been shut down. But that's another story. But so
no coincidence there, by the way.
No coincidence there at all.
Well, plus you have all the shipping, all the trucks that normally drive up and down the freeway delivering goods, the semis, the 53-foot long trailers.
Yeah, they
they're
don't.
always still driving.
That's kind of the thing. We have a major, freeway and highway system that run through our valley, and those trucks have to go back and forth through them. Plus, the regular trucks. You know what I mean? The Kessamasics, the beer trucks, the UPS trucks. Now Amazons are looking like they run pretty
Mostly
clean.
electric.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they look like they're electric, but you still,
But not the big semis that deliver all the shit to
to
the
them.
Amazon facility.
Yeah, and we have 2 huge Amazon facilities here.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like,
Something seems off.
yeah, our air quality here, it sucks. It's really bad. And
It can be great, but it can be horrible. It can be worse than Beijing. Actually.
Oh yeah. And that's kind of the thing. When the clouds sit over the valley, it's just a nightmare. You don't even want to go out.
Oh,
yeah,
God,
the inversion going, and you don't even want to go outside. It's terrible. And it's worse in the fall and winter. But really, I mean, so I get it, and I get the wanting to kind of clean up their air and wanted to get into a group like this. But let's dive a little deeper on who these people are and what their goals are.
Yeah. I will leave a link to all of the videos where Heavy D talks about how he is, being persecuted basically, and how they're going after him. There's a ton. I'll put them all in there. But let's quickly look first at the Utah Clean Air Act real quick. And because it's similar to, federal Clean Air Act, and that's totally fine. Actually, let me go back here one quick sec. I'm going to re-edit this. So let's look at the Utah Clean Air Act and see what's happening with that, because it is kind of interesting. Very similar to federal. An explanation of air quality laws and rules with specific and relevant links to the Division of Administrative Rules. Okay, the Utah Air Conservation Act sounds very good. Sounds wonderful. Sounds very well intentioned. Empowers the Utah Air Quality Board to enact rules pertaining to air quality activities. And yes, we all want clean air. It's wonderful. It really is. A properly enacted administrative rule is a binding effect of law. Okay, so basically they're saying you guys must abide by our rules to keep the air clean, or else we can come after you. Now, and that therefore a rule affects our lives much as a statute passed by a legislature. They basically say actions of state government agents will take over and how the state agent will conduct its business. So they're saying you must abide. Okay. And then it goes on, and I will put this in here because there are a lot of things. We don't want to spend a ton of time on this. A federal law covering the entire country. Under this law, the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, sets limits on how much a pollutant can be in the air anywhere in the U.S. The Utah Air Conservation Act, Title 19, Chapter 2 of the Utah Code empowers the Utah Air Quality Board to enact rules pertaining to air quality activities. Rules. So they can enact rules. Rules that can be enforced by legal means and things like that, most likely. Okay, so you can kind of read through that. The Utah Indoor Clean Air Act is one that was enacted many years ago, early 90s, I believe it was, which is a similar thing, but for indoor health. Specifically, Utah Clean Air Act protects people from harmful effects of secondhand smoke. Law bans smoking and vaping in enclosed indoor public places within 25 feet of any door, window, or that's if you're smoking outside. Mm-hmm. Things like that. So they have these laws kind of in place for that, and that's great. Operating Permit Program Fact Sheet. The Clean Air Act amendments of 1990 included sweeping new revisions that required states to develop air quality operating permit programs that met certain federal criteria. States, in turn, were to require sources of air pollution or those facilities affected by the act to obtain permits contained all of their Clean Air Act requirements. I'm assuming these requirements were put together by scientists, environmentalists, and so on to get something that's a reasonable clean air system set up. Okay, so federal regulations require states to develop comprehensive programs that covered major sources of air pollution and certain non-major sources. Major sources include those that emit 100 tons per year or more of any pollutant, or those that emit 10 tons per year or more of any single hazardous air pollutant. That seems like a lot for hazardous air pollutant, but there's a lot of hazardous. A volcano emits hazardous air pollutants.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Livestock does too.
Yeah, everything.
Decaying organic matter does too. I mean, some of these things are I hate to say it, they're very hippy dippy bullshit to me. Yeah, you know,
very vague. A lot of latitude given is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then the last one, those that emit 25 tons per year or more of a combination of hazardous air pollutants. Okay, great. So there's more. You can read all of this in this. I'll leave this link in there as well. So who is the Utah Physicians for a Healthy Environment, the UPHE? Well, apparently they're the largest civic organization of healthcare professionals in Utah with over 340 members, primarily physicians, but also other healthcare professionals, biologists, toxicologists, engineers, air quality specialists, and the general public. They are concerned about health risks present in our environment. Awesome. We appreciate that. Based on overwhelming, convincing evidence in the medical literature demonstrating a wide array of chronic diseases and more common among people who are exposed to more air pollutants. And I get it. Yes. You get a smoggy day and you're outside doing any physical activities, even if you're a healthy person, you can feel it in your lungs. And so we want to eliminate that.
Up real quick.
All about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. 100% all about it. Utah Physicians for Healthy Environments dedicated to protecting the health. Let's see. Since the group's formation in March 2007, the UPHE has met with former Governor John Huntsman in the Air Quality Board, Public Service Commission, several local mayors, local business leaders, media, and concerned citizens. On March 30th, 2007, 5 physicians from UPHE gave a presentation to Governor Huntsman and with good evidence showing how many more people have coronary and cerebrovascular events, heart attacks and strokes, when air particles are high. And that's great. I appreciate that. That is awesome. This is a group that I feel is kind of a watchdog group saying, hey, we need to figure out this or monitor this or something like that. And that's where that should kind of end, I would imagine, right? That you're saying, hey, we need to keep an eye out for the heavy pollutants that are making people sick. Right?
Well,
I guess.
Yeah, they are. And the more and more I read these articles, the more and more I don't like these people.
Oh, I know. And we're going to talk about a couple more of those for that exact reason, Rude.
Just kind of perusing through here, it says, wildfire smoke poses a public health crisis.
Well, yeah.
But policies meant to manage forests often worsen both air pollution and wildfire risk. We need forest strategies grounded in climate science, not short-term high pollution tactics that gamble with our health.
Sorry, I'm going to throw up a red flag right there. It's my challenge flag.
Yeah, just in that paragraph alone. Now, if you would have managed the forest in, say, California, and didn't let that overgrowth die and just sit there, then
kindling,
because it just acts as kindling. The wildfire, the current really bad one that devastated a lot of homes and property or land in California there, that could have been mitigated really fast had that kindling not been managed, right? So
cleaned up maybe would have been nice. Yeah,
sure. Now even like I think that it's necessary, but here's the
we need
problem
to monitor this shit. Absolutely.
with this. I guess this last sentence. We need forest strategies grounded in climate science, not short-term high pollution tactics that gamble with our health. Now, that statement alone tells me that this group is all about telling us what should be done, but not actually offering any solutions. So this seems like a like you said, watchdog with no oversight. It doesn't seem like.
Yeah. Who's watching the watchdog?
Yeah, and who says what they can and can't do? Who says, who they can and can't sue?
Do
Where
they have carte blanche to do whatever the fuck hell they want?
Yeah, where so it, we did a little digging, and it turns out they're a 501c3 or nonprofit group.
Yep, right here.
Right on their website homepage, they have a donate page where you can donate, and you can
This
make
is
an
under
offer.
Charity Navigator. This particular page we're looking at right now. But yeah, you can donate through this.
Yeah, you can make anywhere from a $10 donation up to $1,000, or you can put in your own amount there. So, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
And you've got, you can choose what you want to use the funds for, wherever UPHE needs it most.
I don't see that in here at all. That's weird.
Yeah. Or litigation to protect Great Salt Lake, litigation to protect Parley's Canyon, and other important work and other important work. And okay,
golly, I'm not seeing any of that in here.
Well, the thing is, they leave it open to say other important work.
Pretty specific there. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so yeah, that just kind of means to me that they are raising funds any way they can.
Oh, but nay, Rude, this is it. Organization mission. This is just to dispel your horrific accusations against a high-profile, wonderful company doing God's work. UPHE is dedicated to protecting the health and well-being of the citizens of Utah by promoting science-based. I'm going to have to throw another red challenge flag on that one. Health education. So that's their goal. Is there anything in there stating that in part of their mission is to also go after violators and sue them into oblivion, or just sue them in general for violations that they are the watchdog group for? Anything in there about that? Nope, I don't see anything. Do you?
I don't see anything. But I'm suing people, suing the pants off of people.
It's easy.
It will educate them, though, to not do it again. Right.
Right. It's like,
is that how they're educating?
We're watching people? Yeah. We're watching you.
Is that how they get their science across?
I would like, yeah. I also was looking up their Facebook page.
Oh.
And this is their Facebook page, just so you know. And that was interesting. But here, real quick, is a little bit of the lawsuit. This is Justia U.S. Law. I don't know who that is. It's just a link I happen to find that shows the court document. Utah Physicians for a Healthy Environment, Inc. So, yeah, they're a corporation, nonprofit corporation, versus the Diesel Power Gear LLC and all. And in this memorandum, decision, and order of contempt. Now, I did bring up contempt just so we have the legalese definition of contempt. It's a noun, the feeling or attitude of regarding someone or something as inferior, base, or worthless, scorn, the state of being despised or dishonored, And this is the one that really is what this meaning is about. Open disrespect and willful disobedience of the authority of the court of law and legislative body, which is what is happening to Diesel Dave, or Heavy D. And it's because he has been saying, well, wait a minute, I think this is a bunch of bullshit. And the bullshit is I'm not going to pay all of this because who the F are you people suing me when we just mentioned all the other polluters out there? Are they being gone after by this same group? And are they the only group going after them? And so I think we have a few questions about, well, who are they and what are they doing? And then really, here's a big thing. What do they do with that money that they're supposed to get? Because here's the thing. He's being sued after entering a judgment against the defendant on March 10th, 2020. Oddly enough, what happened right around March 10th, 2020? Oh, that's right. COVID hit right after that, didn't
Yeah,
it?
right after that.
Closed everything down. Coincidence. I'm sure it's nothing. An order holding defendant Sparks, Diesel, Power Gear, B&W Auto, LLC, Joshua Stewart, blah, blah, blah. Totaling $843,000. Now that's supposed to go to our good friends, Utah Physicians for a Healthy Environment. They are the plaintiff.
Mm-hmm.
So that money is supposed to go to the plaintiff. Liable to plaintiff. How are you liable to this plaintiff? I mean, are the laws set up for the Utah Physicians to get this money? And what do they do with that money? How does that help? I mean, other than say, hey, stop polluting or else we're going to sue you again and you have to pay more. I mean, that's the only thing I can see.
Well, that's the kind of thing. I mean, they seem like they're...
But do they have that power? That's the question.
Yeah, do they have that power? But they don't do anything. You know what I mean? According to...
Apparently, what they do is they sue you.
Yeah, they don't actually provide a service here. Now,
right.
I can say, hey, Jim, the grass is green. Science tells me the grass is green. Now I just taught you something. Does that make me a group now that I can start a thing off here? Because I didn't do anything. I didn't make that grass green. I didn't fertilize it. I just told you that it was. I just educated you that it was, but I didn't do anything. So they don't do anything according to their website here. Now I don't know any of these people. I don't see their trucks on the road or
they may be legit, but it just, we're just like wondering what the hell?
I don't see their electric vehicles, patrolling our roads and making sure that, pollution control devices aren't being tampered with.
Well, yeah. And that brings a question, exactly what you're saying. Are they patrolling our freeways and our streets? Because you've seen a lot of these trucks that step on the gas and black smoke comes spewing out the back.
Yeah.
Are they pulling them over like a highway patrolman would?
Well, I mean, case in point, I'm taking the children to school the other day, and this older diesel, it was a pickup that had a diesel engine in it.
Right.
It's a little older, I would say probably early 2000s. So this guy was running rich, man. Like he needed a tune-up like hardcore. It was so bad. His exhaust was so bad. It was like literally starting to give me a headache. And this is like in a 2-minute follow behind as I'm following him taking the children to school. Yeah. I literally turned down a different street and went up the street next to the street that I was supposed to be on, so I could get out from behind this guy because it was so bad. Oh, yeah. Where was the UPHE on that one?
Well, they can't patrol every street. I mean, they probably have a fleet of 2 vehicles that the nonprofit has paid for the or 5, because you had the 5 physicians originally. I guess they're going to, do they have lights on top of their, can they pull you over for that violation of the Healthy Clean Air Act?
Can they give you a ticket?
Yeah. Did they give you a ticket? That, I mean,
we're strongly
worded. Yeah. Right.
Nope.
I mean, I'm not saying that they're not doing good work, but it sure seemed like this is a freaking money grab to me. like
does to me.
every climate change bullshit that's out there. It's all a money grab. And we're supposed to pay a fine. And then what does it go to? And how does it actually help make things a little better?
Yeah.
Well, what it does is that it'll force a company to spend all this money to create cleaner emissions from their smokestack producing industrial facility, their plant, whatever it is. It'll help car companies and truck companies create cleaner burning diesel and all that. Great. Isn't that something that should be kind of done already and done by some sort of official government organization that kind of tries to regulate? Not that I'm not a fan of the government freaking doing everything like this.
Yeah.
But I would like to see something like this is more of a watchdog group that comes out and say, oh, hey, XYZ Corporation, who manufactures stuff, has a smokestack that spews pollution out the top in their manufacturing processes. And we have done a monitoring of it, and it looks like they're spewing out X, Y, and Z more pollutants per parts per million than they should. Maybe we should have somebody come in and say, hey, from Utah State Clean Air Agency, and come in and say, hey, okay, you're in violation of this. We need you to work on cleaning that up so you're within limits.
Right.
And the government do it. This watchdog group, well, they had to get paid somehow. Well, you get paid somehow from donations of people saying, hey, you're doing great work. Obviously, you have a donation page. Instead of suing anybody like these guys who aren't, that I can see, and maybe I'm wrong, but what I am seeing is not anything near what the mining operation does, from what a trucking company does when they're just driving down the road. These guys have a few vehicles, relatively speaking, compared to these trucking companies, and I just don't see where the violation is. Of course, I'm not diving into it. I don't know all the details, so and I'm certainly not an attorney, obviously, but just looking at the outside, I'm like, something's weird.
Here's some more red flags about this company. Well, yeah, it's almost like they can't touch these big industries because the industry, those guys are going to tell them to just go pound sand, right? So they have to go out. Like I said, it seems like they have to go after these smaller guys. Which, okay, well, if you follow the Diesel Brothers, they have a successful television show. They have a successful shop here. Yeah, they have a successful shop here in Utah. They have a clothing brand. I wonder how much we can squeeze out of these guys, because we looked at our notes and they haven't donated to us. So let's get them to donate any way we can. Here was something kind of odd that I found though.
Do tell.
If you go to their if you go to their website, their contact us page is,
maybe I'll try to bring that up.
It says page not found. So you can't contact them directly. It looks like they do have their address on their website, which is that's nice. So you could go up to their office and see them if you wanted to. However, there's not an email. There's not a phone number.
Their Facebook page was down, which is the most important one.
Yeah, their Facebook page is down. However, you know what? They do have a Reddit page.
Oh, do they have a Discord page as well?
That's what I was gonna say. I think they might have a Discord page too. Kind of seems odd, man.
Yeah, I mean, here's what our good friend Chet, the Chet GPT, kind of put out, because I asked, are they a nonprofit organization? What do they do? What do they do? And if they win a lawsuit, what do they do with the money? And then here's an interesting breakdown of what Chet found. Yes, they are a nonprofit. According to public records, 50c3 charitable. There's their EIN. They appear on sites and lists rate nonprofits like Charity Navigator, which I was just on. And they have tax exempt status, obviously, for being nonprofit. What do they do? Well, according to Chet, UPHE advocates for environmental health, especially air quality, by leveraging the expertise of physicians and other scientists. Interesting. Okay. Public education and awareness. Hey, your grass is green. I think that's what you were talking about there.
Right?
They promote science-based health education and interventions. Okay, ever since COVID, if you are not questioning science-based, you need to question science-based.
Yeah, science-based is bullshit.
Yeah, because you have a group of scientists over here that say one thing and a group of scientists over here that say another thing, and they can't agree, but they're all scientists, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So who am I supposed to believe? And that's why I say, in my opinion, let me take that back. In my opinion, science-based anything is bullshit, because
it just needs more investigation.
It's not
conclusive. Yeah.
Well, that's where you have to do your own education. You have to educate yourself. You have to do your own deep dive on, whatever you're looking into, because if two scientists can't agree, then how am I supposed to, take any action or educate myself on what to do when they can't even agree? And whose advice am I supposed to take?
Well, I got another question for you. So scientists, and a lot of them work at universities, are given money, federal grant money, or they are given donations from certain groups or organizations that want something done. If you are getting a lot of money, a grant, a donation of some sort or whatever, and this has happened a lot, so don't think that they're being completely objective. If you think that they're being completely objective, you are horribly mistaken. There's a lot of subjectivity to a lot of these grants that are given. And oddly enough, if you're given money and you come up with a completely opposite to the narrative, to the interests of the group that has donating
you that money,
you don't get any more money.
Yeah.
You don't get any more money. That's how shit works.
That is how shit works.
And if you don't believe that, I'm sorry, you need to do some research and figure this out. This happened through the whole COVID thing. Interestingly enough, the like Pfizer, for example, and I'm just going off a slight tangent here for a minute, they would pay to have their quote unquote vaccine tested by a particular third party company
of their choosing,
and then get the results to the FDA, and they're back and forth kind of in the pockets of each other. So you're paying a company to find out the results, and if you don't like the results, then you either don't use them and go to somebody else, or say, are you sure that that is correct? Because I have more money to donate to your research to test our product if you come back with the correct answers that we're looking for. And if you don't think that doesn't happen, again, pull your head out of the sand and figure out how the world really works. So I think most people know that. Most people who would watch this show know that and understand that. I'm kind of talking through everybody here to tell that to the friends of ours who just don't think, oh, they would never do that. They're so wonderful. Oh, okay. Sure. So
yeah,
they
and,
go, yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish that.
No, I was just going to read some more of what they do.
Okay. Yeah.
Their policy advocacy and commenting. They submit technical and scientific comments, which again doesn't mean dick. Okay. It doesn't really necessarily mean anything solid, anything true, anything factual, and because who's paying? Comments they submit technical and scientific comments to governmental agencies, push for stronger regulation. That's fine. I get it. Based on the science that they come back with, they're saying, well, let's have a couple other studies done by other independent agencies who are not in the pockets of whoever it is that are paying them to come up with the study. challenging polluting practices and engaging rulemaking. This all sounds so wonderful, doesn't it? And I agree with it. If you can actually do that legitimately, awesome. But let's not do it at the expense of somebody who's just trying to do good and trying to do different things. And I'm not saying the Diesel Brothers are completely, totally good. I don't know how their organization works. I don't know if they're all completely, totally on the up and up all the time. They seem like it. I'm going off that assumption.
Sure. Well, that's kind of the thing. Like, if you're going to do something like this and you're going to be involved in a group like this, you got to understand that, that your voice doesn't really matter, and you're kind of fly, to these government agencies, just a fly trapped in a room, you know what I mean? And it's like, shoot fly. Okay. I got your comments. Now shut up. Let me do my job. Right. You gotta kind of realize that you're going to be that kind of a nuisance to these government agencies. And other than small or large donations that you get to fund your group, and I don't know why you would need funding for a group like this anyway, because from what I've seen, they don't actually physically do anything.
They may produce anything or service.
They may attend some conferences, and they may go this and go that and go to rallies and stuff like that, and put on speeches and stuff. But they're physicians, right? As well. So they do physician things, and they get paid physicians' salaries. So even if they had to do a little travel, do you think that they would just do that out of pocket?
No. Why would you do that when you can get donations and people to give it to you? Or you sue them.
Or you sue people.
Like part of what it is they do, litigation and citizen suits, where they use legal mechanisms, often under environmental statutes. Climate change, global warming, that sound familiar to anybody? To sue parties that violate pollution laws. In other words, tampering with emissions equipment. See, that's part of the thing that they're talking about there. Challenging government actions, and they believe harm environmental health. And then they have partnerships and grants. They sometimes receive grants, example from the EPA, oddly enough, to run air quality projects. So I wonder if the EPA has any certain special interests that they are going after. So I guess in 2018, they got $120,000 from the EPA for an air quality wood smoke reduction project in Summit County. Were they also part of the ban the wood stoves in somebody's house for heating and things like that, and getting rid of gas stove and all this? I can't remember. Maybe not, but
according to their website, they are quote unquote fired up about wood smoke. Can I say that? Can I?
Oh, absolutely! I love it.
Was that low hanging fruit?
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, they are not happy about wood smoke.
Yeah, and they do some research and scientific studies. They draw on medical and environmental research linking pollution to health outcomes, respiratory disease, cardiovascular, So they draw on medical and environmental research. Again, that'd be great if that research was all perfectly objective. But a lot of times, I don't think it is.
I don't think it is either.
Yeah, so to sum up, they are a nonprofit environmental advocacy group using scientific educational, regulatory, and legal tools to influence public health in Utah. So that's interesting. So, here's the next one.
Lawsuit.
If they win a lawsuit, what do they do with the money? This is a nuanced topic. Of course it is. And what happens depends heavily on what kind of lawsuit it is. I don't know, one where you're trying to tell people that they've been polluting horribly and, they're a huge, pariah to the environment or something like that because they have 40 trucks or 50 trucks, whatever. Here's what he found. What types of lawsuits do they pursue? One example of lawsuits is against the Diesel brothers, oddly enough, for violations of the Clean Air Act. Many of their lawsuits are citizen suits under federal environmental statutes. For instance, the Clean Air Act statutes that allow private parties to sue. Oh my God, here we go.
Enforce pollution controls when the government agencies don't or can't. Are you kidding me? So yeah,
so they're Karens.
They're
Karens.
Karens. They're like this vigilante group of Karens out there deciding themselves who's
violating
and how.
And then they come out and do you think possibly they might twist their case into something to make it? Alvin Bragg never did anything like that back in New York City, did he? Letitia James, they never twisted anything into something to turn a nothing suit into 34 federal crimes.
Well, yeah, that's
the thing, misdemeanors to what's the word I'm thinking? Not misdemeanor into a what's the bigger one?
Into a felony.
Felony. Thank you, idiot. Can't think right now. Turn a misdemeanor into a felony. 34 counts of a felony. So they can twist anything they want. And here's an interesting question here. Where does the money go in those lawsuits? Penalties and fines in the Diesel Brothers case, where they're $850,000 air pollution penalty, but that penalty is not paid to UPHE under environmental laws like Clean Air Act. Civil penalties generally go to the U.S. Treasury, the federal government, not to private litigants. Okay, so that's interesting. Attorneys' fees and costs often in a citizen suit statutes, the prevailing party can seek to recover attorney's fees. And I wonder how expensive their attorney's fees are. Do you think they're like $750,000 maybe?
Well, according to Dave there, it was north of 14 million, wasn't it? Or something like that.
Oh my goodness. That's a little bit higher than what I was thinking.
So, but they got it reduced down, out of
appeal. Yeah.
But at the same time, I wonder what that attorney was willing to settle with. And it probably seems like it was
10%
to the tune of maybe 500,000.
Yeah, or 10%, 1.4 million. I don't know.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what you just said. In some appeals, portions of penalties might be reduced or litigated. For example, Diesel Brothers' original request was much larger, but was pared back. We don't know exactly to what, according to Chet. So in practice, they do not typically receive civil penalties, although they do receive it in the form of attorney's fees. And I wonder how much their attorney actually is compared to how much they get and the attorney gets.
Well, I wonder if the attorney if they have any attorneys on the board there of trustees at the old Utah
facility. They have engineers, they have biologists, they have citizens. So I would imagine they probably have attorneys as well. That would be weird. What a racket, though.
Yeah, I mean, in conclusion, to not drag this out too long, I mean, in mine and Barnes' opinions, this just seems like just a money grab.
That's what it seems like to us, for sure.
Yeah, and it's kind of an elaborate scheme to use
clean air statutes and clean air environmental law.
Yeah, for you to kind of go out and play Paul Blart, Mall Cop,
right?
and then just kind of sue at your own leisure.
Yeah.
I don't like this group.
I don't either. There's something not right about this whole thing. But their intentions are wonderful. Yeah, well, the road to hell is also paved with good intentions. But it sounds like, and we'll leave these links in the description below, and please comment on what you think as well. Because we're not stating anything for certain. We don't know if this UPHE group is totally legit or whether they're a bunch of money grabbers. We don't know if the Diesel brothers actually did do something wrong. They're stating they didn't, of course. So in that case, you kind of have to say, okay, I'm sitting in the middle. We've got one side of the story, the other side of the story. Somewhere in the middle lies what actually is going on. But just from the surface, looking at this, they seem to be the opportunity of the day, of the month, of the week, of the couple of last years to go after this group, to make an example of them, and to have the power to be able to sue in this regard and to this level of a company like the Diesel Brothers or us or anybody else who owns a small delivery service trucking type company that's maybe regional or local instead of, interstate. Just seems like an abuse of power that they shouldn't really have.
It really does. And and this is for entertainment purposes, and these are kind of our opinions, and we're certainly not trying to defame anybody, but looking at looking at groups like this, it just kind of seems more and more just in these times that you're right, Barn, they're taking and abusing power. They're abusing statutes for their own gain, and I don't agree with that.
I don't either. Well, and the sad thing is, anybody can be sued for anything, anytime, anywhere.
Right.
We allow this, and see, this is where I feel punishments for making false accusations should be harsher, especially if they're known false accusations. I think you need to have grounds for a lawsuit, other than, oh, well, they put this all together. Well, yeah, I get it. But if you lose, there needs to be punishment for bringing a bogus lawsuit against somebody, or for trying to go after.
I agree. It should be flopped.
Yeah.
And you're right. That false accusation, and you lose something like that, you should be penalized 10 times what you were asking for,
or something.
We don't
know the answer. I think it should be very difficult for a a group that's kind of from the outside in, looking at this situation, saying, you know what, we are not the government. We are not legislators putting together laws for environmental, clean air and everything else. But we're going to go after this company we think is violating that. And we have no dog in this fight, but we're going to make it our dog in this fight.
Doesn't that sound like a certain party that you know? I mean, it's so it's so blue that it makes me want to puke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're right. I got no dog in this fight, and I don't really do anything to help, other than go after people like this. I don't conduct experiments that are publicized at all. I'm not governmentally subsidized, that have a vehicle to go around and do this quote unquote policing.
Or even if you have the authority to do that to begin with.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I have no authority, but I'm gonna put my foot, in this game for what?
I mean,
for money?
If you want to look at it like you're making a citizen's arrest type of thing, I don't know how. I don't know how legal that really is.
That's why these have to be civil suits, because they have no grounds. It's made up.
But and that's the thing. If they're civil suits, why was he put in jail to spend 2 or 3 nights in jail, solitary confinement or whatever it was, for 2 or 3 nights? How
for being in
contempt? He was found in contempt because he didn't pay the fine. Okay, great. I'm not an attorney, but I'm just trying to answer and ask and everything, my own questions here as we go. But it just certainly seems like, okay, you have this no dog in the fight person coming in, throwing their dog into a fight that they have no business being in. Oh, but they make it their business, apparently.
Yeah, they made it their business.
And you are fighting this like, no, I am not in violation of the Utah Clean Air Act or the any pollution violations or anything like that. I've got 20 vehicles, 40 vehicles, whatever he has, most of which are not even running at the same time. They're just sitting in his lot, from what I gather.
Fleet. Yeah, they're not a fleet.
So he's got, I don't know, 3 or 4 that may have been done and out on the road. I'm pretty sure Heavy D, and I don't know him at all, is not going to put something out there that he rebuilds. And I think he's doing a great service by rebuilding these vehicles that are basically in the truck graveyard, and bringing them back to life. That he's going to have something that spews more pollutants and make everything worse. That's not a kind of a business that anybody wants to, like, no, I want a diesel because I want the power, but I don't want the pollution, the smoke and all that shit coming out. Don't build that. He's not going to be in business very long.
Right.
Doing that.
Well, and that's kind of the thing though, too. It's like Kindig. It's novelty. You know what I mean? It's novelty. Yeah. And even the stuff that Diesel's brothers build, it's not going to be something that somebody's going to drive every day. You know what I mean?
Right. Just looking at it on the surface, I don't see how this even had legs to go that far. So anyway, so this is interesting. We will see if we have any more follow-ups on this at a later time, but we thought we'd bring it to forefront. I literally just heard about this from a friend back in New York, our buddy T, who usually joins us on the show a couple times, who hopefully will be able to join us again in the next couple segments that we're going to do. And he's in New York and heard about it. I guess it was all over the news. Like, David Muir, that stellar journalist, was talking about it. They had it on ABC, CBS national news. They had it, Laura Ingraham had it on her Fox show and all that I saw. So it was out there. Somehow I missed it, right over my head. Didn't even see it. Wasn't paying attention. But we thought we'd talk about it. The Diesel brothers, Heavy D, D Sparks, all these guys are totally, completely, angels or saints or anything like that. Because I don't know. Maybe they are. Maybe they aren't. They do some good stuff. They helped out with the snow removal in the Sierras when we had that huge snowfall a couple winters ago. And helping out the people so they can actually get out and get supplies and food and things like that. So I think they do really good work. I just don't know if, they do stuff that they don't realize they're doing that's bad, or they do purposely. I have no idea, but it doesn't seem like it to me. So don't forget, check out therudebarn.etsy.com. We've got a lot of new merch up there. I put a bunch of stuff up. And check that out. And please join us for the next podcast. It's coming up pretty soon. Any last words you can think of, Rude? Question everything. That's right. And that's what we're here doing. We're questioning everything, because sometimes things just don't seem right. And sometimes they are what they seem. But for the most part, they're not.
When 2 and 2 adds up to 6, then that's when me and Barnes step in as
we got ourselves a problem.
Question everything, police.
Yep.
And gotta question everything.
That's right.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you all on the next podcast.
Later, guys.